Ported.
All right, so we got Miles Tyler playing base versus Ryan Pham playing Athena. So base has to munch through another 7 hand sizer, and I imagine that Athena, unlike Satoshi, has a lot of great defensive pieces.
Yeah, I'm sure this deck. I have to imagine this might actually just be outright Shane's Athena deck, because I know he did travel up here with Shane. Carpooled with him, and I know Shane has an Athena in his back pocket. We'll see how it actually goes. This is actually a Void Mirror, I'm pretty sure. Um, on relatively bad information, I don't actually know anything about Fam's deck, but I'm going to make some wild assumption that it is a Void Athena deck, killing with Slaughterhouse and Rain Flush. This is actually a Slaughterhouse Mirror, if that's correct. Who'd have thought?
All right, high roll to see who goes first. Looks like Miles got a 7 to a 6, I think. So I'm going to assume that Miles is going to go first, which I think is the correct choice here. The thing that's nice about Athena is her first form does let her get up a foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the last match, we saw a 7-hand size character with a form ability that puts a card back in his hand. Athena just gets a card straight to her staging area. So if she makes a conservative build to play around base's discard effects, she can still put 4 cards on the table in the course of one turn while holding 4 back to block before she even has any draw effects.
Now, I think Miles may have to mulligan this hand. I saw 2 Slaughterhouses.
Oh, that's real bad.
Yeah, 2 Slaughterhouses. I think at least 2 other attacks. I think he has to mulligan here.
Yep.
Oh, holy moly, yeah.
Oh, was that 5 attacks in an asset, it looked like?
Yeah.
Good lord. Well, I know I saw a pair of 2 diffs and a 1 diff at least in here, and a Saw Blades for turn 2, so not bad.
Let's see. Let's get this show on the road. So we're gonna start. That card's gonna be, I think, pretty good for Miles. Okay, that's good. Caught red-handed.
Oh,
and
8,000
an
degrees is real good.
And a portal barrier. That's not gonna pass. So Miles gets a 3 build.
Yeah, the basic 3 build. That's the minimum of what you're satisfied with on turn 1. We're gonna see if Ryan Pham does review step a maximal laser away. So yep, we got a void build there.
So we are Void Athena. First form. Getting a foundation for free is super good here.
Yep.
Especially as Athena, you're gonna get effectively be an 8-hand sizer on a build turn.
So he's gonna build out. He's gonna try to build out some foundations here. He's got a Revoke in his hand, which isn't at its best absolutely here.
It's a 20XX, caught red-handed, 8,000. Oh, hold on a second. Oh no! What?
What do you do?
I don't know what's going on here. Is he gonna make a control check? Perhaps he made a mistake. He made a play error.
I wonder what it could have been. I don't think this probably isn't a multi-symbol deck. He didn't fail his control checks at all.
Looks like left in his hand. I think he's a pair of Revokes in his hand.
That's rough. As many characters you'd say, oh crap, I've got to play the first form on Revoke. But Athena's first form is much better than Revoke's first form. You get to keep the Revoke in your hand.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be really helpful when blocking here.
Yeah.
Once again, being a 7-hand size, this is going to put Ryan Pham in a lot of must-block situations. And having a pair of Revokes to stop that discardability on base is going to be really, really helpful.
Yeah, at some level it's good, but it really doesn't do that much. It keeps the card out of your card pool to help with aggressive difficulty, but you're still losing a card out of your hand when he plays that Enhance.
That's true.
And he still clears his card pool to pay for the cost.
But remember, Miles runs that one base attack that'll pull a face down to his card pool.
Yep.
Which
Revoke is very important.
Revoke is going to be very important here.
All right, we're going to see a block. We got a breaker block coming in.
All right.
And Miles did not damage pump this throw, which makes me think he's either going to try to take a conservative build here, or he might play another attack.
Well, let's have a look. See. I suspect Miles is going to attack again. His Saw Blaze is going to be on a 5 now. No, he's going to attack. He's got a Metal Blade. And he only needed a 4 there because it's a 2 difficulty move.
Yep. Oh, the 8,000 degrees is coming in now.
So I'm inclined to believe that's going to be a Revoke.
It's a Revoke. Interesting.
Maybe he's just trying to get those Revokes out of his hand.
Yeah, that might be it. He might just be throwing away on anything. I saw a Leaf Shield in Ryan's hand, in which case I would certainly not have revoked that 8,000 degrees Enhance. If he's going to be fully blocking this, or using the super block on Revoke, or on Leaf Shield, pardon me, which does not care about the attack zone.
He's just going to eat that. Miles did not increase the damage there, which I'm not sure he can. It's not a safe move.
Oh, that's right. Now, so here's an interesting case with base. So that lead-in attack, Sliding Ankle Breaker, that's one of Gabrick's cards. Base's enhance requires you to discard a safe attack from your card
He
pool.
can't discard that.
Sliding Ankle Breaker cannot be discarded. Is that a Black Justice he played as a form?
Yes, he did play Black Justice as a form, which I think that's a fine move against a 7-hand size deck.
That seems very peculiar to me. That seems like
Against 6-hand size, I would have definitely held the Black Justice and then reviewed it on my next turn.
yeah.
Unless Miles was low on foundations in his hand.
Yeah, I if I were Miles, I would have put the Saw Blades there. That might, it's certainly more aggressive. You're discarding a great high block, and yeah, but we'll see how it turns out for him. He does only have four ready foundations plus his character in his staging area, so Athena could come in with some attacks here if she wants, or Ryan Pham could come in with some attacks here if he wanted to try to punch that staging area, but I would try to just build if I were him. He's considering his hand, looking at his options. He did do his first form, so he's got 5 ready now, plus his character. I think that ultimately, I think that Miles is slightly ahead in this situation. He does have the tempo advantage. He's got 2 momentum now, so any Dark Lasers he draws later on will be absolutely enormous. And Ryan has several non-block cards in his hand. He's just gonna play them out here. Is he gonna? He's looking like he might pass the turn with 5 cards left back to block. One big thing here is that these cards like 8,000 Degrees and Immortal Knowledge, which both players are playing, are much worse against base than they are against kind of a random opponent. They are completely useless on defense because base turns those small damage penalties into big damage bonuses. So that's going to be a big thing here. This is a tricky matchup for Athena to navigate. She's going to have to try to find a lot of blocking defense, which she normally would be relying on these small damage reduction effects and some big attack strings to try to close things out. Base is going to be a tough nut to crack. It's going to be a tricky matchup for him to try to navigate. He does have several great blocks in his hand. You see a Leaf Shield, a Chitin Techie, and I think a Slaughterhouse at least in there. So that's 3 cards with Breaker. Could do a good job punishing Miles' fairly small staging area, only 5 cards.
Yeah, I think Athena's going to have to get something going on offense pretty quickly. Miles has already got 5 cards in the staging area, and base's moves, as we discussed previously, are incredibly cheap.
Yep, very low difficulty, and playing cards like Metal Blade, you're committing really hard to that low difficulty attack string. But 19 vitality is not, or 13 vitality is not nothing, especially because he actually only has 1 damage pump in his staging area. And now it's going to be 2 with a second 8,000 Degrees, a copy of Haunted by Loss, some one diff spams. And if Ryan can convince Miles to just keep staring at him, this is definitely going to favor him with the 7 hand size and the first form ability.
Yeah, but how many? Miles only played 3 cards that turn.
Yep.
So I'm inclined to believe that Miles probably has 3 attacks in his hand, and I think the longer this goes, this favors Miles. Because he's able to get a hand of 4, 5, maybe even 6 attacks, which all become must blocks. And base is going to strip one of the cards out of Ryan Pham's hand.
We haven't seen any of the super powerful effects out of the base character yet. 2 8,000 Degrees are the only damage pumps over there. So his attacks aren't actually going to become so enormous. I think if we see a card like Treble in play, suddenly things become very sketchy for Ryan's position. But the challenge here is going to be, I think, just finding some way to make progress.
So I see in Ryan Pham's hand, he has a Rolling Cutter.
Yep.
Which is super bad in this matchup because
it is a reversal that can put itself back in your hand, which often would be good against a pokey, lightweight attack string deck. But the big thing with base is that all of his attacks are always safe. So
yeah.
They cannot be reversed.
So while this game is progressing on nice and slowly here, we're just going to check back in on the chat on Nubian God's page, and it looks like we are still talking about the tournament organization.
Yep.
Sounds like people are annoyed that things change from event to event. People talking about how they deserve to be annoyed if events are run different.
Oh, we got Dream of Fate Lion Buddy in play. That's a game changer. See, we're talking about, well, who does this favor? Who's ahead? Having Drew with a Lion Buddy in play will put Ryan ahead very quickly as these turns go on. He's going to be able to find an attack string that's going to be like earth shattering, just completely run over the top of Miles' position, using that Drew to filter one of the dead cards he draws into an attack every turn.
Yeah, remember, Miles has 2 caught red-handed, so the first 2 turns you Lion Buddy, it's blank.
That is true. There are not a lot of targets in either of these decks for caught red-handed. We see them just sitting in play.
I mean, there's a target right there. It's got a huge bullseye on it.
Yep. Yeah, you're totally right.
And you have to discard a card as part of the cost for Lion Buddy. So you're going down to a 6 hand size if you try to play through those caught red-handeds. Yep. Now, if Ryan Pham gets a Land of the Makai out and can commit those
actually, is there one already? I believe that is sitting at the top of the second pile. I think that was a Land of Makai. Remember, it has no block, so we built it out a couple times ago.
So a Land of Makai here will instantly turn Lion Buddy on. That's a game changer.
Yep. And, it does commit every copy of a given card in play, including your own, if that comes up. But it also costs a foundation to activate. So if Ryan plays accurately, he can pay that cost using his own card.
Using his own card red-handed, yeah. So we'll see what's going on.
This is actually strategically, Ryan's only playing 2 cards a turn and then holding back 5, and he's still making some progress thanks to Athena's first form. So we see this kind of in action where he is just making the small incremental progress using Athena's form and then holding back a ton of blocks. He's got a Leaf Shield in his hand for this throw probably.
Pretty sure you use that Leaf Shield now.
It's hard to say if this doesn't get pumped up very much. You really want to save that for an 8,000 degrees to catch that damage pump, because then you get double duty out of stopping the damage.
Right.
19 vitality, you can just block with whatever.
Oh, he's going to use...
Ryan defensively discarding?
Yep, he is using the Year 20XX. He may be trying to get ready for a backswing turn.
That is aggressive. I love it.
Well, forcing Miles is going to revoke that.
Great choice. If that's going to eat a revoke.
That baited out. That successfully baited out a revoke.
Yep. Now this costs him, costs him a foundation. He doesn't get that foundation back, but he still keeps his full hand. Maybe he was trying to discard a no block card or something that he had in there, but
here comes the 8K.
Yep. I actually had I played base in the Atlanta PTC top 8, and there was a very similar situation. The game had gone on for a little while. My opponent led with a sliding ankle breaker and pumped up some 8,000 degrees on it, and I blocked with Peaceful Messenger and basically won the game on the spot, because he wouldn't have enough damage after that. Miles appears to only be using 1 8K right now, so he might be saving a little bit more gas for later, but Leaf Shield here will look really good.
Yeah, because, but he's not going to block with a Leaf Shield.
He's got a Kite and Techie. So he's going to apply the breaker, and because base can't clear the sliding ankle breaker, we saw this come up already once this game, he's going to have to play 2 more attacks before he gets to use base's enhance.
Which he's not. He's playing Athena's Knight, which isn't that great against Athena because it's only -2 damage because Athena is a lady.
Yep.
Except for when you dress up as Athena.
The folks haven't seen that one yet, Sean. That's a little preview of the champ card spoilers coming this week. Actually, coming not this week. We have my singles cards. That's a different thing.
All right.
What did Ryan draw there? I think I saw a second Leaf Shield, and a first form comes in. See a kind of blank card handed. It looks like a Saw Blades and a Silent Assassin. These are good cards, but I think that
are they going to get him up and over?
Yeah, this might be the time. He can spin the wheel on Lion Buddy. Activate that Land of Makai, tap down the card red-handed to clear the way, and then see if he can draw into a Rain Flush or a Maximal Laser.
You saw him reach for the Land of Makai and the caught red-handed, and he does have a caught red-handed in his hand, I believe. So that is going to let him pass the turn back to Miles with a caught red-handed available.
Yep. So how much damage reduction does Miles have on this board?
He has a
Portal Barrier,
a
8,000 degrees, and an Athena's Knight. So that's 1 damage from every sufficiently large attack, and then 4 more damage, from Athena's Knight and 8,000 degrees spread out. And plus, that's a pretty big staging here. He can probably block at least once.
Yeah.
3 cards in his hand. This is a tough place to be in for Ryan Pham. He's got to calculate a lot of possibilities here before he can figure out if he's going to commit to this attack string. But it might be the time.
Miles did play 4 cards last turn. He played a Revoke, he played Attack, and 2 Foundations. So he's just got 2 cards in his hand. But what are those last 2 cards? And that's what Ryan Pham needs to think about. Is one of them a Dark Laser?
Yeah, so one big thing against 6-hand size characters, even if you commit to an attack string and miss, if you force them to spend all of the cards in their hand, you stand a decent chance of them just breaking on the backswing. If you have a card like Leaf Shield in your hand, they need to draw 2 or 3 attacks to close it out, and it's very challenging for base to do that off the top of the deck.
I'm just checking back in on the Nubian God Twitch feed here. There is a lot of salt. Literally, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 cans of salt. Plus the salt that people are putting in with their keyboards. People are incredibly upset about the way this tournament has been run.
Well, people are being very loud about their upsetness. That's not necessarily the same thing. You know, it's Twitch chat. If it's not cancerous, it's not really Twitch chat.
I mean, you can talk about good things in Twitch chat sometimes, I guess.
We got some Kappas coming in.
But a lot of salt. But we are seeing a Lion Buddy activation.
We're seeing a Lion Buddy discarding a card right-handed and then running face first into that card right-handed. So he decided to... He's going the hard way through those card right-handed, just saying, hey, I'm going to give you the chance to cancel something, give you a juicy target, and then I'm just not... You know, I'm just going to let you cancel it and let it go that way.
Slaughterhouse.
Whoa.
Now, Slaughterhouse gives your high and low attacks plus 2 damage for the rest of the turn.
Yes, it does.
And he is going to year 20XX as his first E.
Oh, he had another one of those in play. Oh,
now
man.
Miles is in a bad spot. He's got just 1 card in his hand after this, if he lets it resolve.
And now Ryan, his hand contains a Silent Assassin. Using Athena's ability, she can sacrifice a face down in her staging area and cheat another foundation from her hand into her staging area. That's gonna drop that Silent Assassin straight down, remove Miles' last card from the game, and add 2 damage. So we might see a kill right now. All right, we have Athena's Knight coming in, reducing the damage of the Slaughterhouse. Miles is saying, "I'm not blocking this. This is your lead-off attack. I'm just going to take it to the face." And it's up to Ryan to figure out how exactly he's going to proceed from here.
Yeah, he's got a puzzle to assemble here. And it looks like Miles is going to take some damage. I don't know how much we can see. 24.
All right, yep, 2 damage. So starts at 4, gets -2 from Athena's Knight. And
he's going to play that as a form.
All right. Yeah, so we're seeing a little poke, and now some defensive building again. All right.
Now, Kevin Brower, you're kind of familiar with this deck. What does Momentum do for you here?
So I'm not confident that I know. He might be playing some copies of his own powerful attacks, like Ultimate Undead is certainly an option. Your own Dark Lasers, perhaps. It can let you multiple out a Rain Flush even with no other attacks in your hand.
We have some more controversy breaking here. Miles took 1 less damage as a result of an Athena's Knight than he should have. Who is watching this match?
Us. Yeah, so Athena's Knight should only be -2 against female characters. It turns out that CA White Knighting for folks doesn't White Knight quite as hard when you're fighting against a girl.
Oh my gosh. Is there no judge at this event? Is there no CCG director at this event? What is going on?
Yeah.
This is pandemonium.
Well, hey, maybe we just I assumed that there wasn't an Immortal Knowledge activation, but there was, adding 1 damage back to that Slaughterhouse. So, you know, this is the life of a stream monster, and we're seeing a somersault kick come in here, which is a real beating against Athena. It can always rip out a face down. I think this card might have been designed to hunt Athena because she was a big tournament presence in the sets leading up to Mega Man Battle for Power.
Excuse me for just 1 moment, Kevin Berber. I'm going to make a quick call.
You got it. Here, give me these. All right. We've got a 1-man commentary team again. We're coming into a attack turn from Miles Tyler, leading off with a somersault kick after Ryan's brief feint of an attack string. We'll see what comes up here. You know, Miles doesn't have a ton of damage output, but Ryan doesn't have a ton of defense either. And you know, all of base attacks start out at pretty big damage totals, and he only has to deal 9 to finish off them. You know, there might be multiple Leaf Shields to get through. You know, we're gonna see some throws that aren't gonna do very much, but
how are you?
yeah, strategically, this is a very scary place to be. Ryan's counting the discard pile, seeing what attacks have already been checked, and then he can try to gain some knowledge about what might be going on in Miles' hand. because you can get an idea if there are 3 copies of Slaughterhouse out of the discard pile, out of the game already. There can't be more than 1 Slaughterhouse in his hand. Although I wouldn't expect Miles to lead with anything but Slaughterhouse here. And the attack zone mix-up I think isn't coming into play very much right now, because I think most of Miles' attacks are going to be highs, and Ryan knows that. Ryan's been holding high blocks like Dust in the Wind back to try to block. And we'll see what's coming up. This is still game 1 to our chat. We haven't had very many fireworks. We've seen a lot of attacks that just go in and are unblocked, and it's hard to say. We're seeing 8,000 degrees come in on this, so Miles is committing pretty hard to this lead-off somersault kick. Are we? All right, we're adjusting life totals again. So now it's 24. They have 2 damage. Slaughterhouse against Ryan's 10. So he's just out of desperation range, which doesn't really matter to Athena. She doesn't have access to very many desperation cards, and none of them I think are particularly competitively viable. But it's nice to know. 10 more vitality to deal. This single somersault kick could deal that much damage if it were to come through uncontested. But no way Miles is going to commit all of his 8,000 degrees, all of his damage bonuses to an attack that's going to be so easily blocked. We see a Leaf Shield coming on to defend himself. So Ryan's going to Breaker 1, keep his life total high, but now things get really scary. Miles' board's got 8 foundations plus his character, plenty enough to pass any control checks, and Dark Laser is coming down. This thing's going to kill Ryan, possibly even on the half block, if there's a few more damage pumps. Although the mid zone is the easiest zone to block traditionally. I can't imagine it's going to come through uncontested, but it's going to be an absolutely forced block here for Ryan to defend himself. And he's going to have to... Yep, go ahead, Sean.
All right, so it looks like Miles just discarded his attack from his card pool. He's going to block here. No, he's going to add that card to his card pool. This is a pretty exciting game 1 here. Moving on to... This is Dark Comet or Dark Laser?
Dark Laser. This is a powerful 4 attack now, starting at 6 damage, thanks to its own abilities. And now he's playing that enhance, getting back a safe attack from his discard pile. Conveniently, there's one on top after you do bases enhance. You don't have to look very far. Yeah,
hopefully Fam here does have another mid block in his hand, or this could be the end. Miles is able to add plus 12 damage here with Powerful, and he is going to add...
He's adding 8, it looks like. He's got 2 momentum in his hand of the 3 that he has available to him.
That's true. We did just lose the audio here, so I'm not sure what is happening. So we're going to kind of have to go with what we can see.
Yep. Yeah, we've been... just to keep the viewers at home up to date, we've got a little setup here where one of us has a headset, so we don't have to stream the noisy stream that you might be watching in your own background back at you, and we don't have to listen to all that and make you listen to all that. But now, we're having some technical difficulties, and we're just going to be watching. It seems like most of the stuff that's been happening, though, has been pretty easy to discern from just what's going on the board. Oh, aha. So Miles is activating the response on Black Justice in response to spending that momentum, trying to draw some cards, and it's getting hit by caught red-handed. I'm surprised. Going into this match at the start of the turns, I thought those caught red-handeds were going to be dead cards that would hit the sideboard as soon as possible. But we're seeing them. Both players are activating them on their opponents.
All right, so looks like we're getting ready to block, and Fam does have to block with his Slaughterhouse. He did check a 5 here. Yep. That's really good. He's going to have to commit a fair number of foundations. He's got some foundations left.
He's throwing away lots of face downs and cards with form abilities, so he's not spending any of his defensive stuff here.
And Miles is going to play some foundations.
All right, so that was kind of I call that a feint almost. He's playing some lethal attacks, forcing Ryan to block, but not really having a kill, not having the opportunity even to deal lethal damage unless Ryan severely fumbles his blocks. But he did force him to take 3 attacks out of his hand.
Yeah, so losing 3 attacks, Miles still has 3 cards in his hand. At this point, I think it's Miles' game to lose.
In this kind of scenario, a lot comes down to what players are drawing off the top of their deck. Both players have plenty of foundations to pass any control checks, to activate lots of abilities on their staging area. and we're gonna have to see if Ryan's just running into the caught right-handed again here. It looks like he's thinking about what he's gonna discard and to force Miles to flip that caught right-handed. And there we go. Yep, Dream of Fate once again shut down, and we're gonna see where he goes from here. He probably doesn't have enough attacks to finish the game out, and he's got several non-block cards.
I would get that Damnation into play.
That's going to be really good here. Neutralizing one of Miles' 8,000 degrees on offense or on defense, and also protecting some other high-impact effects later on.
Miles is going to review a Soul Beats, which does add itself to his staging area directly. Miles looks like he picked up at least a Revoke. I didn't see what else.
I saw 2 consecutive attacks before that Revoke, so that's a pretty good draw step. He can apply a bunch more pressure here, possibly close the game out if Ryan stumbles on the blocks, or simply forcing Ryan to play more blocks and draw off the top. Although the card hands have been depleted, Dream of Fate is going to find attacks.
Yes. So I think Miles has to play defensively now.
Yeah, it's, there's no, to go for lethal here with only 2 attacks in your hand is gambling that Ryan just didn't draw the right block zones. And after he only played 2 cards as forms plus the Dream of Fate, this is kind of, I think strategically this is what Ryan wants to see. He wants to see, if he can't draw the kill, he's happy just sitting behind his form speed effects, Athena, Dream of Fate, putting him a little further ahead, and eventually finding some gigantic, slaughterhouse, rain flush kind of attacks.
Miles is playing defensively, so he only played 2 foundations in pass.
Yep.
We know he has a Revoke in his hand. We thought we saw 2 attacks, so...
Yep. I think they were rocket busters, so 2 speed mids, or plus 2 mid blocks, and, one thing that has come up, because we haven't seen Base get attacked very much, Base's ability is active on defense, and it is extremely disruptive.
Yes, if he has a safe card in his hand, he can put his opponent down 1 card on their turn, and then 1 card on his turn, effectively making Athena into a 5 hand size.
Yeah, and, for Base, his attack strings are easy because of that progressive clearing. Athena has to pass her control checks the hard way, and when you're playing 5 difficulty attacks with 2 cards in your card pool, you can have a 10-card staging area and still be tapping out.
Athena is going to get another free foundation. Man, I bet you this Athena player wish she had some assets in DeForester right now. That would completely change the way this game is going. It does look like our stream may have frozen, or nope, Fam is just sitting incredibly still right now.
Yeah, this is a tough situation. We've got a lot of moving pieces in play. One big, we saw a big piece come into play.
We are going to see a Lion Buddy.
All right, we're going to flip off the top until we find an attack card.
Oh, and it's a Slaughterhouse.
That could mean a lot of damage. That could be 10 or more damage if Ryan has some more attacks to follow it up with. And one key resource for the Athena deck here in these long games is if any of his attacks deal even 1 damage, you see Ryan looking at all of his face downs right now, he can tap those, or he can pick one of those up with Shopaholic. Yeah. So if that's a face down attack card that he got from Athena's first form at some point.
Which I have to imagine if he was playing correctly, that card he just committed is an attack card.
Very likely an attack card, yep. Imagine if it's a Maxima Laser.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
But he's trying to decide what to commit here, and that is a good question. Do you attack his 8,000 degrees? Do you attack his Immortal Knowledge?
Yeah,
he does have he does have a pair of each of those.
I would look at Portal Barrier, which can reduce damage from every single attack you play rather than just one once. Oh, is he undoing? Is he saying no? It's not the time for that yet.
I mean, that is he's waffling back and forth.
This is a very challenging situation to be in. As I said, a lot of moving parts, a lot of things to consider, and a lot of he's got to look several moves ahead before he decides what he can do here, and it's very difficult to do that with so many things that can happen. Athena's not an easy deck to play because she gets into these situations. She can bide time, she can tread water, but when it comes down to it, you've got to commit to the violence, and you've got to commit hard.
Yeah, because you can't go in on half, right?
Yep.
Because Base is going to disrupt your turn. He blocks with a safe attack. That's going to cost you a card and 1 progressive difficulty. So if he's going to go in, he's got to go in hard. And he's got to have a plan to win right now.
Yep.
Tell you what, though, I bet you he's wishing he could commit face down foundation. Well, that would be bad for him.
That would be bad.
He is going to attack the
8,000 degrees down.
Hold on a second. He has his own 8,000 degrees. He should be committing that as well.
Yeah, it is all copies. So,
man, is there a judge watching this? Everybody agrees we're watching the stream right now. He has to commit his 8K too.
All right, we're seeing some discards. Might be too late to back up at this point. Um, your 200x rips one card out of Miles' hand. By my count, Miles should have 4 cards at the start of this turn. It's down to 3 now.
If I remember correctly, one of those is still a revoke.
It still is a revoke, so I expect that Silent Assassin that's been hanging out in Ryan's staging area is going to get activated and going to get revoked, because it is better to discard the best card in your hand, revoke, and save 2 damage than it is to let it get randomly discarded.
But does Fam have another Silent Assassin in his hand?
So Jeremy Ray tells us that Landon Mackay is better than we think, and he is playing it correctly. It does not commit his own.
I could have sworn it was all copies.
All right, we see this. We see the railgun. Oh, all copies in your opponent's staging area, I guess. All right.
Oh, look at that. Made a mistake.
This was I remember Tim did this at one of the first events after the Darkstalkers Tim's release. He called his deck Railgun Athena, built around enhancing with multiple Silent Assassins in the same enhanced step. And we see the Silent Assassin cheated out of Ryan's hand into his staging area.
So he did cheat another one in.
Yep. So double Silent Assassin during the same enhanced step. Miles started with 4 cards. Now he's down to 1. And I believe that both of his copies of Rocket Buster are gone. So he might be... We're in the dark on what his last card might be, but I do not believe it is a safe attack.
It looks like there's a lot of debate still going on in our chat as to what exactly the Land of the Mackay does.
Yeah, no one ever said that UFS was easy. Even the stream monsters can't keep up all the time.
So let's see.
I'll be right back.
All right, so looks like we are in the midst of an attack turn here. We got a Slaughterhouse out. Miles is down to 1 card. He's been stripped of 3 cards out of his hand this turn. And if Miles can be put in a spot where he has no cards left in his hand and Fam has the damage, and that's the big if here. Does he have the damage? Because if he doesn't have 24, and he still has to get through Portal Barrier, he's still got to get through in Athena's Night, he's still got to get through Immortal Knowledge. And I mean, that there is at least 4 damage. So let's wait and see here what is going to happen. So we do get the 2 damage from the Silent Assassin. That's going to make the Slaughterhouse a little bigger. All right, this has been quite a nail biter for a Game 1 match here in the Grand Finals of the San Antonio PTC. We do have Slaughterhouse in the card pool. We are trying to resolve it here. It's at +2 damage. Let's see. Let's check into the chat, see what is going on in both the chats here. People, I think, are finally in agreement as to what the Land of the Mackay does. I think in the Rochester chat, people think that Ryan Pham should have won last turn. I think he's got a pretty good shot to win this turn. He did have to get rid of 2 Slaughterhouses already, which could be pretty bad. So, but he does have Shopaholic, which would let him pick up a face-down attack if he has one. So, it's all going to depend on what that face-down card is right there, and if Miles can block all of his attacks. So, let's see what is going on here. It's kind of a quiet moment waiting for players to decide what they're going to do. Without the hand cams, we can't see the looks on people's faces, because I have to imagine Miles is thinking to himself, am I going to survive this turn? How many attacks are in Athena's hand right now? Because there are 4 cards left in Fam's hand. Anything gets through for any damage, he's going to Shopaholic, a bonus attack. So, in reality, Miles has to be thinking, what do I got to do here? My opponent could have 5 attacks in his hand. Do I block the Slaughterhouse? Is he going to follow up with a Rain Flush? What is coming up next?
Yep, if I were Miles, I would hope that the card remaining in my hand is a high block, because I think that we've seen several high attacks that start at 5 damage out of Ryan's deck, and I would try to save it for something that was getting punked by Slaughterhouse, if I could. And in the meantime, I'm just going to play my -2, -1 damages, my Athena's Knights, my Immortal Knowledges, my Portal Barriers. Actually, a big thing I think is playing your Portal Barriers just right. You want attacks to be at least 4 damage, so Portal Barrier can reduce them to 3.
Yes.
That's one kind of very interesting foible when playing a lot of these the spammy Void and Life cards. We've seen a lot of these, your Dimitri decks and all that. So I think, a lot of experienced players have run into this before, plenty of times, optimizing your petrol, I forgot, Portal Barrier output, reducing the most damage possible.
So I think kind of we're in a wait and see kind of moment here. I don't know, since we've lost audio, who has priority right now for enhances.
You want to give a refresh on the stream a shot?
Well, no, stuff's moving.
Yeah. Well, we might get audio back.
Well, no, my headset's dead.
Oh, okay, sorry. Just let it recharge?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was working fine for me, so I guess you jinxed it.
All right. We got audio back here for a little bit till my battery dies again.
Does it only do one or the other?
It should do both. I think it's the charge cable.
Yeah, it's just kind of worn down. All right.
So I'm just trying to get something from the audio as who is on the play right now.
Yeah,
we are going to block. So Miles is going to block with a Team K-Dash.
All right, not a bad card to have left as your last card. Personally, I'm not a fan of this card in base because all of your attacks are such great blocks in the first place. But
that's Breaker too.
He's got a random chance on the Silent Assassin. It was either this or the Rocket Buster, and I think Ryan would prefer it to have been the
So he's going to
TK.
play. Checks a 6 when he needs an 8. That had to happen right then. But now, is he going to have to feed his slaughterhouse to his
yes,
Rain Flush?
That's fantastic.
Oh, it's for the rest of the turn.
This is not Dark Side Master.
Right.
This card adds 2 damage to all of your attacks for the rest of the turn, regardless of what happens to it. We've got a 14 damage Rain Flush on the board right now, and this might be the beginning of the end for Miles.
Miles has no hand right now.
Yep. And this is up to Ryan to put together the damage, the attack string to close this out. But I think he's got it. Slaughterhouse and the damage pumps out of that are going to overwhelm those little -1s out of Athena's Knight, Immortal Knowledge, Portal Barrier.
Mm-hmm. So let's see here what happens. So we just used an Immortal Knowledge, just getting -1. The Slaughterhouse is getting munched to Rain Flush.
Yep.
So now the Rain Flush is coming in for 6 damage, but now this
6.
second
We're going
copy.
to drop it down a little further, and this, if we get the correct -2, all right. Ryan's going to pump it back up with his own Immortal Knowledge. He had the opportunity there to let Miles make a mistake and reduces his Rain Flush down to 3.
And it looks like the Athena's Knight was accounted for correctly this time.
Great. We've got our chat saying they missed the dark ages of 59 attack decks. And hey, if your meta turns out to be looking like this with Void discard mirrors in the finals, I'm sure there's tools in the metagame right now to account for that. It's just that this is how it happened to boil out today. We didn't see this dominating the room by any means. There were plenty of other decks. And
all right, so they are fighting back and forth with damage reduction, damage pump.
Yeah, it looks like we're just exchanging all of our pumps on this rain flush. And then we're just gonna try to.
It's coming in for 4 right now, which is right where Miles wants it to be for his Portal Barrier.
Yep. So if this comes in for 4 and the Portal Barrier hits, and even if he checks a 3 here or a 4, he's almost certainly gonna tap Foundations to pass those Portal Barrier checks.
Since he's got nothing
else to do. Absolutely.
And that's gonna come in for 3. So that's gonna put Miles at 21. Moving on to the next Rain Flush. So that's going to be getting +1 damage from 8K. It's going to be getting +1 damage. +2 damage from Slaughterhouse. And Fam does add a card to his hand with Athena's Knight. Now, if it was Shopaholic, right? If that's another Rain Flush, we might as well stick a fork in it because it's going to be done.
Yep. Yes, we've got a 7 damage base here. I think there's only one 8,000 degrees from Fam's side, so it starts at 8. And I think Miles is out of other resources but Portal Barrier now. So we can basically just say 8 -1, 7 damage. Miles is going to be at 14, and he's got his back against the wall for sure in a big way.
So he is going to respond with Portal Barrier here. That is going to pass. You're going to pass it anyhow at this stage.
Yeah, the checks don't matter very much because he's got no hand. He's got nothing else to do. He can tap those Foundations, and before he'll get a hand back, he's going to have.
Is that a Rain Flush? That is a Rain Flush.
Another Rain Flush. So bad checks here could be an issue, but that looks like an Invincible Iron Body costs only 2 to pass. Oh, and Fam's got a fat stack of face downs that are hard to tell from up here. If he's got 5 more ready cards and a Leaf Shield in his hand, that's going to be the game.
He can't. Now Fam just uses Damnation to cancel Sense of Justice.
Oh, that's big. Yep.
So anybody who thinks that if Damnation's a bad card, you could just see that they may have just won Fam the game.
That was 2 damage on the board right now.
I think it's time for Fam to munch, Yum,
Yep.
yum, yum. Feed a Rain Flush to Rain Flush.
And here's 14 more damage into 2 portal barriers. All we need now, I think a Leaf Shield will close the game out.
Which he does have in his hand. And we
And
only
he
need
can
to
have-
check 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6.
Yep, 6. You got 2 multiple copies and 1 Rain Flush in his card pool right now. Anything but a Slaughterhouse here, I think, closes the game.
Or Rain Flush.
No, another Rain Flush does it. Oh, he could fail the Rain Flush.
Yep.
Yeah, he could check if he checks a 2 with 3 progressive. He can check a 3 and fail a Rain Flush. Leaf Shield's the only thing here that's safe with 4 ready cards.
Yeah. Now.
And Leaf Shield it is. He checks a. Looks like a. Is that a 6? Is that Esoteric Yoga I see there?
Yep. And
the
that
same 6 that he checked at the bottom of his deck. All right.
And that is that. We are moving on to game 2.
We had a very eventful game for. Yeah, there was a lot of staring and a lot of building, a lot of conservative plays, but eventually Ryan tears it up with a fat stack of discard, tearing through 3 cards out of Miles' hand and winning despite the last card being a full block Team K dash.
All right, so they're joking a little bit about, oh man, Rain Flush and Slaughterhouse.
It's been a while since we've seen Rain Flush. That card used to be an absolute villain. Arguably one of the best attacks out of